In 1970, 11-year-old Margaret Simon comes back to her home in New York City after spending the summer at camp. She lives with her parents, Herb and Barbara. One day, Herb's mother, Sylvia, comes to visit them. When Margaret walks into her apartment, she finds out that her family is moving to New Jersey. Her father, Herb, got a promotion at work, and they need to move because of it. Margaret feels sad because she has lived in New York all her life and doesn't want to leave her home. Her parents try to tell her that moving will be a good thing and that she will like it once they settle in. Margaret's dad, Herb, is Jewish, and her mom, Barbara, is Christian. Margaret thinks a lot about religion. She often talks to God in her head. Every time she prays, she starts by saying, "Are you there, God?" "It's me, Margaret." After moving to New Jersey, Margaret meets a girl in the neighborhood named Nancy Wheeler. Nancy tells Margaret that she saw a flyer saying a new girl was moving into town. She invites Margaret to come over and run through the sprinklers in her yard. While they are playing, Nancy makes a comment about Margaret having a flat chest and never kissing a boy. Later, Margaret meets Nancy's older brother, Evan, and his friend, Moose Freed. Margaret thinks Evan is a little annoying, but she starts to like Moose. She gets a small crush on him. At home, she tells her dad that Moose cuts lawns for $5 and suggests that they could hire him to cut their grass. Margaret starts 6th grade at her new school. She ends up in the same class as Nancy Wheeler. Nancy also has two close friends in the class named Janie Loomis and Gretchen Potter. The three girls are already close, and they quickly include Margaret in their group. There is another girl in their class named Laura Danker. Laura is taller than the other girls and looks more grown up. Some kids make fun of her because of this. Nancy tells the others a rumor that Laura lets her brother Evan and his friend Moose touch her inappropriately. Margaret doesn't know if this is true, but she hears the others talk about it often. All the girls in the group have a crush on the same boy, Philip Leroy. He is in their class too, and he is considered the cutest boy in school. One day after school, Nancy invites Margaret, Janie, and Gretchen to her house. She tells them they are going to have a secret club. The club has rules, like wearing bras and talking about which boys they like. Later, Margaret asks her mother, Barbara, if she can get a bra. Barbara seems surprised but agrees to take her shopping. At the store, a worker helps measure Margaret's chest and gives her a training bra. It's Margaret's first time wearing one. When Margaret sees her friends again, she notices that Janie and Gretchen are also wearing training bras now. This makes Margaret feel better about herself, since she doesn't want to be the only one still developing. But even though they all wear bras, the girls still feel like they want to grow faster. To try and help their chests grow, the girls do a little exercise they made up about their bodies. At school, Margaret's teacher, Mr. Benedict, gives the class a research assignment. Everyone has to choose a topic to learn about and write a report on. Margaret feels unsure about what to pick. She goes to talk to Mr. Benedict after class. While they're talking, she brings up her family background. She tells him that her father is Jewish and her mother is Christian. She also says that her parents told her she can decide her religion when she grows up. Mr. Benedict thinks that's an interesting idea and says it could be a great topic for her report. Later, Mr. Benedict mentions that Margaret had said she's never met her mother's parents. That makes Margaret curious. When she gets home, she asks her mother, Barbara, why she has never met her grandparents on her mom's side. Barbara sits her down and explains the truth. She says that her parents are very religious Christians and did not approve of her marrying a Jewish man. Because of that, they disowned her. They have not spoken to her since she got married, and that is why Margaret has never met them. Later, Margaret spends a weekend in New York City with her grandmother, Sylvia. Sylvia is Herb's mother, so she is Jewish. During the visit, Sylvia takes Margaret to a Jewish temple. She wants Margaret to learn more about Judaism and see what it is like. Margaret watches the service and tries to understand the religion better. While Margaret is away, her mother Barbara tries to get more involved in the new town. She wants to make new friends and help out in the community. She meets Nancy's mother, Jan, and starts talking to her. Jan encourages Barbara to join the PTA, Parent-Teacher Association. Barbara signs up for several committees and groups to be more active in Margaret's school and the neighborhood. Margaret and her friends start thinking a lot about getting their first period. They talk about it often, wondering who will be the first among them. One day, Gretchen tells the group that she got her period. She is the first one in their group to have it, and the others are both curious and a little jealous. Later, Margaret receives a postcard from Nancy, who is away on a trip with her parents. In the postcard, Nancy writes that she has also gotten her period. Margaret feels even more pressure and starts wondering when it will happen for her. She feels left behind and begins to pay more attention to her body, looking for any signs of change. Not long after, a boy from Margaret's class, Norman Fisher, invites the whole class to his birthday party. Norman is known for being a bit odd, and most of the kids don't really want to go. But Norman's family has a lot of money, and many of the parents think it's important for their kids to attend. So even though the kids aren't very excited, they all show up for the party. At the party, the kids start to play a game called Spin the Bottle. In this game, someone spins a bottle, and whoever it points to gets a kiss. Norman spins the bottle and it lands on Janie. He kisses her on the cheek, and everyone giggles. Then Nancy decides to make the game more exciting. She changes it to 2 minutes in the closet. In this version, 2 people go into a closet alone for 2 minutes when the bottle points to them. The first pair to go in are Laura Danker and a boy who was shorter than her. The other kids whisper and laugh while they are in the closet. When it is Margaret's turn, the bottle points to Philip Leroy, the boy all the girls have a crush on. Margaret and Philip go into the closet together. While they are inside, Philip kisses Margaret 2 times. Margaret feels surprised but happy. She's excited that her first kiss was with Philip and feels special. It's a moment she knows she'll remember. One day, Margaret goes out with Nancy and Nancy's mother, Jan. They all go to a restaurant together. While they are eating, Nancy suddenly gets up and runs to the bathroom. After a few minutes, she calls for Margaret to come help her. When Margaret goes into the bathroom, she finds Nancy crying. Nancy tells Margaret to go get her mother. Margaret quickly gets Jan, who goes into the bathroom to help her daughter. It turns out that Nancy is having her period for the first time. Margaret is surprised. She now realizes that Nancy had lied on the postcard when she said she already got her period. Nancy had just made it up to seem more grown up. Margaret feels upset that Nancy wasn't honest with her. At school, Margaret is assigned to a group project. She is placed with Laura Danker, Norman Fisher, and Philip Leroy. She doesn't want to be in this group, especially not with Philip. During the project, Philip makes a rude comment about Margaret's chest. His words hurt her feelings. That night, when she prays, she tells God that she hates Philip for what he said. She also says she hates Nancy for lying to her, and even the other kids in her group. Later, Margaret and Laura are working together in the school library. Margaret is still frustrated and upset, and she ends up snapping at Laura. She makes a few mean comments, some of which are based on the rumors Nancy had told her about Laura. Laura becomes angry and hurt. She storms out of the library. Before leaving, she says that people only spread gossip about her because she's taller and more developed than the other girls. Margaret doesn't know what to say. Margaret then sees Laura go into a nearby church. Curious, she watches Laura go into a confessional booth. Margaret decides to follow her inside. She sits in the confessional, but when the priest asks her what she wants to confess, Margaret realizes she doesn't have anything to say. She doesn't really know what she's doing there. The moment makes her stop and think. Afterward, Margaret starts to reflect on everything. She realizes that she doesn't truly want to be friends with Nancy anymore. Nancy has lied, spread rumors, and hurt other people, including Margaret. Margaret begins to see things differently and starts to understand who she is and who she wants to be friends with. Margaret finishes her research paper for Mr. Benedict. When she hands it in, she writes that she still feels unsure about herself and her beliefs. She doesn't know yet what religion to choose or exactly who she wants to be. But she's learning and growing. After spending time thinking about her actions and feelings, Margaret decides to make peace with the people in her life. She talks with her parents, Herb and Barbara, and with her grandmother, Sylvia. They all have an open and honest conversation, and Margaret feels closer to them again. At the end of the school year, there is a school event with music and dancing. Margaret decides to do something kind. She goes up to Laura Danker and invites her to dance. Laura agrees, and they begin to have fun together. Janie Loomis sees them and joins in too. Margaret is happy to be surrounded by people who are kind and supportive. Before the school year ends, Margaret also goes to Mr. Benedict and tells him that he is a great teacher. She wants him to know how much he helped her grow during the year. Back at home, Margaret makes plans to spend more time with Moose Freed. He has started cutting the lawn for her family, and now she feels more confident about getting to know him better. One day, something important finally happens. Margaret gets her first period. She calls out for her mom. Barbara comes in to help, and the two share a warm hug. Margaret feels proud and relieved. She has been waiting and worrying about this moment for so long, and now it has finally come. That night, Margaret kneels to pray again. She begins the way she always does. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. But this time, instead of asking for something, she thanks God. She's thankful for all the changes, lessons, and moments that helped her understand herself better. She feels more at peace and ready for whatever comes next. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.